We just had some massive news which completely changed the market outlook for most people. And today I am going to talk about exactly what that means. I am going to talk about what I see happening here. I'm going to talk about updates from the Middle East and what you need to be prepared for right now. Of course, we are at a very critical point in time. So make sure to watch this video from the beginning until the end of this video. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Chris, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day, teaching you how to make money in this market. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and activate the bell right now. So let's get straight into it, guys. And what you can see on the 4-hourly time frame is that we actually did lose my orange box right here. You can see that the bulls were trying on the 4-hourly time frame to keep us above the edge of the orange box here. We had pullbacks, but then the bulls ran it back up, and then finally we saw this big red candle close below this point. But again, we saw a pump above the orange box right here as well. Why did we see this run up towards the above the orange box? It is because if you look at the daily time frame, the bulls did not want us to actually close the daily time frame below the orange box. So that is why you saw the bulls step in again and at least make sure that on the daily time frame we do not close below this point. But on the 4-hourly time frame we have closed below it. So this is a sign of weakness right now in the market, guys. So this current red candle, you can see that we, after having this pullback, after having this bounce and then the subsequent pullback, we are now again in the orange box here. So of course, the longer we stay here, the weaker this is going to become. Now, the next levels of support is, like I said yesterday, $61,000. It is 59, and then the big one is going to be at around $58,000. So let's keep our eyes on that. And for traditional markets, you can see that traditional markets have been continuing to trend down a little bit, mostly going sideways, but if anything, trend down a little bit here. But this trend line is still intact. We haven't broken down below it, at least. We've found support a couple of times. But look at this. We do have an orange line at 5,050 as well. So should we break down from this point, well, at least we do have some decent support here as well. So let's keep our eyes on that. One key thing is also that the dollar index on the weekly time frame has been going up after, from the downside, breaking through the orange box here, having a pullback. So making this support, we have now from this point had a big pullback. Now, why is the dollar becoming stronger? Well, there's some problems with the inflation once again, and the Fed came out yesterday and they've been saying similar things recently, but especially yesterday, they said a couple of very clear and defining things. So what they said is, recent data shows lack of further progress on inflation. Inflation has introduced new uncertainty on whether the Fed can cut rates later this year. Fed can maintain high rates for as long as needed. Recent data has not given greater confidence on inflation, and it goes on. So basically, this was not very, very bullish in terms of us getting a rate cut anytime soon. And what I want to highlight is this. If higher inflation persists, the Fed can maintain current rate as long as needed. Now, what I showed you yesterday is that the trajectory that we are on right now is that the inflation is increasing. And if it continues to increase in the same pace in which it has actually been doing here recently, then at the end of this year, we could be looking at like a 5% CPI inflation per month. So this is definitely something that we need to pay attention to right now. Now, what this means is that instead of having like 2-3 rate cuts this year, the market now believes that if we go to December here, it believes that by the end of December, so by the end of this year, we are going to have just 1 rate cut instead of 3. So this is definitely something that has changed over time. And as the inflation has started to become problematic again, the market is reacting accordingly. So if we look at December right here, you can see that the market believes that we are going to be at about 5.25%. So that is only a rate cut of 25 basis points. So this is something we need to keep our eyes on. This is obviously going to continue to change as we get more data, as we see more statements by the Fed. But yeah, inflation is starting to become a problem again. But the good thing, I guess, is that with the market being so pessimistic at this point, then we can have, surprises towards the upside. If the market believes something to be really, really bad, well, if it turns out to be better, then it leaves more room for pumps. If the market, let's say, I'm going to take a comparison here. If the market was expecting us to have massive rate cuts this year and rate cuts every single month, well, if you do not get those, then the market is going to react badly and price is going to go down. So this is what I mean. I would rather have a pessimistic outlook from the market and then us overachieving that and kind of outperforming. So that is something that is also very, very vital to keep in mind here. Now let's continue to talk about the spot Bitcoin ETF. So what I want to show you is that there's 30 funds and advisors that have added 0.2% of the shares from IBIT. So they have added a little bit of exposure to the spot Bitcoin ETF. It's very, very small, but they are still dabbling with it. So this goes to show that potentially over time, this is going to increase and you are going to see some of these massive fund managers add more Bitcoin and trade that more and advise that to all of their customers. But it's nice to see that we have evidence right now that some of these massive advisors and funds have actually started to trade Bitcoin here, or trade the Bitcoin ETFs, I should say. Now, one key to think about here as well is that some of the most vital earnings reports are going to come within the next 2 weeks. In fact, most of the companies included in the S&P 500 are scheduled to report over the next week. So this is going to have a big effect on the S&P 500, which is going to have a big effect on Bitcoin as well. So these earnings, be prepared for volatility during the next 2 weeks, and especially the next 7 days or so. You're going to see some of the major companies report earnings. So if they're going to outperform earnings, it's going to lead into higher stock prices, which is going to lead into higher S&P 500, which could be a good thing for Bitcoin as well. So let's keep our eyes on that. But even more so, let's keep our eyes on the situation in the Middle East, because it has now been reported that Israel have finalized their plans for the offensive against Iran. So let's see what is going to come out of this as well. So hopefully we're not going to see something completely crazy happen, but these are the reports that they have finalized their plans and they are going to strike sooner rather than later. What I'm hearing is Saturday. So let's see. The weekend is what has been reported mostly. Now, finally, I want to end up on something else. The pullback that we've had recently is confirming and going completely in line with this fractal I showed you a little while back. So what you have is on the total market cap, excluding the top 10, so smaller altcoins. And you can see that we had this in 2022, in 2018. Well, this takes place during a couple of years. So basically from 2018 until 2021. This is from 2022 until 2024, basically where we are at right now. And then prior to that, you had 2015 until 2016. So what you have is this rounded bottom accumulation. You have a breakout from the accumulation zone, like you see right here, boom, and then you go up, you have a pullback to the previous breakout point right here when we break through previous all-time high. And you can see we have similar things right here. And look at this teal little box here. Pullback to this orange line, pullback right here. It's looking completely in line with what you've seen in previous cycles. And then after that, we went up very, very high in the total crypto market cap, excluding the top 10. So meaning smaller altcoins in general. So guys, that is what I got for you. I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.